YouTube, it's your boy LaRon, Potent Pondering. I'm back with another video. Yo, I had to come and talk about this whole Kendrick Lamar Drake situation. Also, J. Cole is triangled in this with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. So listen, I want to get into this article that I found from GQ magazine. I hope y'all all having a great day. Please make sure that you subscribe to this channel, thumbs up the video, hit the bell notification, hit all notifications so you have my videos in your possession each and every time I go live. So listen, let's get into it. The Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef explained. And like I said, I got this from GQ. So, all right. So Future and Metro Boomin's excellent album opens a new chapter in rap geopolitics as the Big Three Titan uses his guest verse to finally diss another. So let's get into it. It's been a minute since we had a good old-fashioned rap beef, but Kendrick Lamar just firmly decided thawed his Cold War with Drake all the way out. Notice they've not mentioned JCOLE, not with the spicy Instagram live or tweets or with straight bars. To quote prime Jigga era Jay-Z, the summer's about to get hot. So Future and Metro Boomin's decade in the making new album, We Don't Trust You, was already one of the most feverishly anticipated rap releases in some time. On the song Like That, Kendrick delivers on the Christmas Eve energy with a guest verse that may as well be a controlled sequel. But whereas the naming 2013 landmark was ultimately rooted in the spirit of competition, this shows that the gloves are off. They saying that Kendrick was not playing. All right. So Kendrick sets the tone early, declaring that he's choosing violence and it's time for an opponent to prove he's a problem. And though no names are officially named, a reference to Drake's song First Person Shooter and the album it lives on For All the Dogs means we have to consider this something more than subliminal. On First Person Shooter, Drake brags about taking Michael Jackson's mantle for having the most Billboard Hot 100 #1 songs as far as the hit, and is going as far as to hit Beat It steps with the sequin gloves and the video, for Drake's song. Here, Kendrick finally formally cast himself as a direct opposition, ending his verse with a haymaker referencing MJ's own longtime Cold War enemy, Prince outlived Mike Jack. Sheesh. So Kendrick Lamar and Drake have a complicated history with over 10 years worth of static. As fanfare around Kendrick Lamar grew, Drake was quickly to embrace him, giving Kendrick his own interlude on his 2011 album Take Care. So listen, this could be taken as jealousy. They'd be quick to talk about female rappers. All right. And he brung Kendrick Lamar on tour for the subsequent Club Paradise tour, which included J. Cole, A$AP Rocky, Meek Mill, 2 Chainz, Waka Flocka, and others. But even on that song, Buried Alive, tension was in the air, with Kendrick recounting his thoughts while receiving game during a meeting with Drake. Then the more established in the industry at this point and admitting to being irritated by Drake's success. Oh, not jealousy from male rappers. They be quick to say that the female rappers oh man. Nevertheless, they linked up for an excellent poetic justice on Kendrick's seminal Good Kid, Mad City album, but the collaborative vibe stopped a year later. After Drake was one of many peers Kendrick named in the timeline-stopping Call to Arms verse on Big Sean's Control. Big Sean just also dropped a new song that's fire. Gotta review that. So a month or two after that, Drake dropped Nothing Was the Same, and in the interview with Elliott Wilson, slickly managed to give Kendrick his props while dismissing the verse at the same time. Fast forward a month to the Cypher at the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards, where Kendrick Lamar rapped, "Nothing's been the same since they dropped Control," and tucked the sensitive rapper back into his pajama clothes. So 2 months later, Drake hops on the remix to Feature's Titanic-ish, ends the verse with FN's gonna be FN's. That's why we never gave a F when FN switched up. Talking about Kendrick Lamar. A little over 10 years later, Future's song sampling 3 6 Mafia is once again in the stage for a response. The decade in between has been rife with subliminals, references that could be reasonably taken as warning shots but easily disavowed as harmless if either artist was asked. A spicy allusion to rappers using ghostwriters just months before that whole scandal broke out. You remember when Drake was being accused for the ghostwriting from, you know how that goes. We're not going to go into that. A charge, I put him on my tour, reminder there. The language, element, Deep Water, and 100, all reasonably discanon, but never made official. All right. So to say nothing of Kendrick and his cousin Baby King's The Hillbillies conspicuously aping Drake's sticky flow, or Drake saying he can't be like none of these guys who only drops an album every 3 to 5 years when announcing All the Dogs. Because, Kendrick don't drop like that. All right. So the NFL star Marcellus Wiley once claimed he bear witness to some of the rappers taking it there when he asked about the situation during an ESPN Sports Nation interview, but the cooler heads prevailed. The rappers team had the interview buried. To this day, we don't know which of the two it was. So, that was going at each other between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Now, if you get the gist of this interview, of this article that I'm reading, does it seem like J. Cole is involved in this at all? I think in a competitive sport, Kendrick Lamar responded, to the whole big three, but I felt like he's really getting at Drake. So let's continue. In the midst of playing United States versus Soviet Union, though both rappers maintained a close relationship with Germany, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Cole have yet to make a rap form dream reality with their long alluded to collab album, but stayed in communication on wax in other ways, like Kendrick handling hook duties on Cole's Under the Sun, or the time they did a beat swap and freestyled over each other's songs on Black Friday. Cole and Drake, meanwhile, have always been upfront about maintaining a real friendship outside of rap, but finally doubled down on wax with not one, but two collaborations last year, and Cole joining Drake's nationwide tour for several days. Now, I'm going to say this. I feel like Drake is kind of like the weak link type. He knew J. Cole watched him lyrically on them verses. He knew it. Everybody was talking about it on social media. Drake, I don't know. I like Drake, but I still have my certain reservations about him. So let's move on. And another interview with Wilson, this time alongside Brian B. Miller at the tail end of the last decade, Drake mused that the next 10 years would be the time for him, Kendrick, and Cole really to show and prove who's built to last. Why can't just be based off of what you're doing? If Nicki said this, y'all be so quick to tear down the women who be trying to go. Listen, let's continue. Cole made the subplex plain on the 2021 freestyle over Drake's then new Pipe Down, rapping, "Some people say that I'm running third. They threw the bronze at me. Behind Drake and Dot, yeah, them N-words is superstars to me." So he leans into it even harder in Drake's verse on the first person Uda with the love when they argue about the hardest MCs. Is it K-Dot? Is it Aubrey? Is it me? We the big three, like we started a league. And then proceeded to say he was Muhammad Ali. So unlike that, Kendrick is feeling a lot less kumbaya, rapping "Mother F the big three, is just big me." Between that and dismissively observing that N-words clicking up earlier in his verse, some could argue that the song also functions as J. Cole diss as to Drake, but I don't really personally feel that. I feel like he really wanted Drake. So, but as you could just as easily say the same about Cole's recent statement that he's out to prove he's the best as he preps his long-awaited album, The Fall Off, which is like a Jay-Z Black Album-esque manifesto he's crafting to ostensibly end all of the debate. After all, the big three line on the first person Uda does end with Cole declaring himself as Muhammad Ali, a sentiment that he's been doubling down on in one stellar verse after another for the past few years. All right. So he's clarified in an interview with Lil Yachty that he never once awarded himself the bronze medal, just merely acknowledged that it was a rampant perception from the public. So in theory, the new Kendrick lines could be received by Cole as the same spirit of competition that he's been preaching. This is why I'm telling you, I think these shots from Kendrick is definitely towards Drake. So let's continue up the article. But we've got hundreds of words without returning to the duo who delivered this moment. Future, the fourth face on 2010's rap Mount Rushmore, and Metro Boomin, the super producer he's made some of his most potent music with. There's a deeper layer to Kendrick's choosing a Future and Metro album as the stage to finally go at Drake. Notice they not saying Cole. Metro has seemingly had his own problems with the Sixth God. Late last year, he posted a subsequently deleted tweet about the acclaimed album Superheroes and Villains continuing to lose awards to Drake. They had their Her Loss album. Drake had their Her Loss album with 21 Savage. During a live streams not long after, Drake hilariously referenced the non-believers and underachievers, the tweet and deleters, adding, "You guys make me sick to my stomach, fam." Despite trading a few more subliminal pot shots across Twitter and Instagram, Metro downplayed the beef and saying that the issue was not deep at all. Listen, own up to what you're gonna say, because if you said something, Metro, there is a feeling out there, and you could definitely tell on this song they feel some way. So still, When eagle-eyed fans took note Metro unfollowing Drake on Instagram in a definitive 21st century signpost of the unamicable split ahead of the album's release, it didn't take a hip-hop scholar to assume that, as Kendrick would declare, it's up. And for those wondering how the producer-rapper beef would even reasonably play out, Metro makes it clear by serving up a new creative peak on Like That, which is obscenely screwface-inducing beat. Yo, that beat is so hard. Sampling 3 6 Mafia's Who's the Crunkest, right? As well as the Eazy-E's classic Easy Does It, as well as a splash of Riding Spinners. And in effect, Kendro and Metro are following playbooks beloved by the likes of Jay-Z. Before them, even Drake with Back to Back, and dissing your opponent on a song that's undeniably a banger, whether people know the context or not. You know, that's what Nicki is on too. Nicki's like, we gonna get you on a hit record. You know what I'm saying? That's more potent for me. It's more potent. It's potent. All right, so let's continue. But why would Future, who has 30 collaborations with Drake, including a 2015 album What a Time to Be Alive? I love that album, yo. And 2 fairly recent tracks on Future's last solo album cede airtime on a new project to a noted Drake enemy. No one knows for sure at press time, but it's possible that they have issues of their own. Despite their prolific collaborations, their relationship has had its rough moments from day one. Recall 2011 when an ascendant Future got to assist Drake. Got an assist from Drake remixing the former's Tony Montana, only to publicly bemoan Drake refusing to do a video. And while they toured together in 2016, who can forget the time in 2013 when Future was briefly allegedly booted off of Drake's tour for less than flattering comments about his music in an interview? So see, these people is petty. They want to talk about the women. But listen, I'm here for it. Like, I want to hear the bars. I want to hear the art. I want to see who could craft better with that pen game. Like, so I'm here for it. But just notice, these dudes is petty just like the women. So factor in the name of the album and Future's rap on the intro about someone who's his number one fan, despite sneak dissing him on the side. And you don't need that bit of a tinfoil to make the leap. Any opinions on the current status of Future and Drake's relationship is still baseless conjecture from now. But what is irrefutable is the rap beef is geopolitics. Once one would imagine that Drake, who on the chorus of a recent track cheekily wonders about Pluto would do in a certain romantic situation, wouldn't simply shrug at one of the most frequent collaborators releasing a project with space reserved for direct shots at him. So yeah, this was a really good interview. Really good article. Let's finish it up. So it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds while it's understandably taking up a lot of oxygen right now in the timeline. Yo, people are going crazy over this on Twitter. This is all I see. One thing we shouldn't lose sight of is that We Don't Trust You is quite simply incredible. I haven't listened to the full album. I listened to a few tracks. So sure, beef is cool, but so is Future reverting to some of the most historically depraved peaks earlier on the track. Do not listen closely if you not want to hear specifics of the X-rated scenario that may absolve him of his 20-carat rings. He's blacking out mostly everywhere else on the album even harder. 2022's I Never Liked You was a great album, but We Don't Trust You arrives immediately battling for an even higher spike in the storied discography. The same can be said about Metro's beats. I yelled just as loudly as I did at Kendrick on Like That. Later on the surprise Rick Ross verse as he glides on the soulful escalating beat for Everyday Hustle, only for the beat to morph into a third time as the Future returns to take his reins. So Metro's been talking this album up for the better part of the year, directly acknowledging the high standard set by Future's past work as a unit. They've cleared the bar and then some, shaking the rap game up in the process, securing a top slot for the summer outside and any best of lists. Silencing all doubters with the music, casting oneself as a step ahead of any of the competition. Its energy, the late great Mobb Deep rapper Prodigy would appreciate, which is perhaps why the album is prepped with rippling sound bites from some of his past interviews. All right, so new beef and a handful of great mainstream rap records all before Easter. I thought it was a drought. So listen. What did you grasp? What did you glean from this article? What I glean is that, based on what I felt as well, I don't think that the smoke is really for J. Cole. Kendrick has an issue with Drake, but can I ask you this? You know, they always say that the women is petty and the women is jealous and this, and they always try to say that, right? Now, is Kendrick Lamar jealous of Drake? Is that what it's really about? Because they said that he was annoyed with Drake's success. Listen, everybody has their own trek and their own path. Even though that I personally lyrically might like Kendrick Lamar, a little more than Drake. I feel like Drake is a better hit maker. You know, it's kind of it's a lot of variables that goes into the matter. But all in all, I want to know what y'all think about this. You know, do you feel like that Kendrick was really getting at J. Cole like that? Or do you feel like Drake is the one in the middle of all of this? This is how I personally feel. Drake is the one in the middle of all of this. I feel like Drake does have some shady ways too, you know? So listen, this is your boy LaRon Potent Pondering. Please get up in the comments and let me know what you feel about this beef. Do you think that it's going to go into the summer crazy? I expect that Drake is going to be responding soon. He's going to come out with something and just try to push it to number one just to show Kendrick, yo, this is who I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? So listen, get in the comments and let me know how you feel. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and all of that. I'm up out of here. Peace.